It is time to start thinking about spring and summer in the house of the Matilda and Josephine. Of the Matilda and Josephine? No, of Matilda. Well, they are the Matilda and the Josephine, but the house of Matilda and Josephine. And so at the moment, obviously, we've got this really lovely winter garden that I'm so proud of. And this is going to stay here until around about March. I think it's March the 21st, 22nd, I'm not sure of the exact date of the official spring. But what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just doing a little bit of planning on what I want to do with the garden, and I'm going to start making it. So I've decided on this little wall railing. I walked past someone's house this morning actually, and they had like the little brick bit here, and then they had the black railings going across. So I'm going to do exactly the same railing as before with all black and then the little copper points on the top, and then I'm going to make brick, and I'm going to make them quite small, and I want to make them look quite rustic and old, not like that smooth brand new brick. I know one of our neighbors has the brand new brick, and it just doesn't have much character to it, so I want to make it look quite old and rusticy. I also want to do like this side thing down the side of the house there, which is going to have lots of little plants in it, and I don't know how to light it. I've thought about maybe taking the lights off the front and pushing them around the side. It would look good to have it behind this window as well. I don't know if I've got that angled correctly. There we go. Got the window up there. So I'm gonna do a spring summer related window as well. But I'm going to probably do that last because that took a really long time. And I'm not going to necessarily do the detail because that was really, really hard. I do want to make it easy on myself as well. So yeah, so I'm gonna have that little side bit, and I thought as well, maybe if instead of putting these lights in it, I might just have a tea light hanging down, because it's got this kind of nice, not very bright glow to it. I might have two, and then it's hanging down inside. I'm going to make this out of balsa wood, out of the remainder of what I've got here. The first thing I want to do is just cut out the balsa wood so that it fits just like all the other ones. And I'm going to use the very original garden as the template. This was the very first one I ever made. I remember going down to the greenhouse and getting all this gravel, and then I did buy that, so I might use this for the paths. If I put paths on here, I might even have a little path up to the front door where I'm putting, because I'm thinking of maybe having a path like that and then having a path going over here, or I could go completely different and actually have the railing going up to here so no one can get in the front garden. It's like private to the rest of the house. You'd have to come out of here to get in the front garden. I don't know, because it would be quite nice to, and also you'd have, I don't know, there's going to be so many different things. I think I'll probably leave it like this and have access there simply because it'll be easier. I don't know. Again, I keep not knowing. So we'll see. But first of all, I want to cut out the bit of balsa wood. Right, so first job is just to draw around the balsa wood around the template. And it's basically so that it can fit around the front of the house, and then I can remove it whenever I want, because this actually moves around the house a lot. It's usually in the dining room, but then if we're having stuff happening in here, if we're doing something, if we need the space, then it goes into the other room where it's actually put on the house itself. There is a back to this house, but I just wanted it to be easily removable, and also because my dad made this doll's house, I don't want to interfere with it too much. I have stuck these lights on it, so I'm not sure how that's going to change anything, but at the same time, you know, we have lost a lot of paint, and then I've changed it with the bricks, so it's all right. And I'm sure my dad's looking down and thinking, yeah, it's not bad. So I just need to cut this out. I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult. And I bought myself, you would have seen it in other videos, I do have a new knife. So this should be a little bit more easier. And I also learned how to put the blades in. I was doing it wrong before, and I pushed them too far down, and now I realize there's a little bit of a knob just there, and you stick it in, and voila. So I'm going to get something to cut this out on. So the back of an art pad is always really good for this sort of thing, and this is the one that I've been using to do my paintings on, so you will probably see this later on. So I'm just gonna cut away. This is quite scary, because I mean, it's not scary at all, is it? It doesn't matter if I make many mistakes, because I actually lost a bit of the front of this one and I was able to cover it with the clay. So no one's any the wiser except for everyone that's watching this now that now knows that I lost a bit of the wood. It's so much easier cutting this way. Like, I suppose it's with the grain. I don't know if you can, call it that, as much as you can. And then this way it's a bit harder, but, and also I've got, the lighting is really bad, so I can't actually see properly what I'm doing because of the shadow. So I'm kind of half seeing the line and then half not. So I'm going to cut all of this out and then we should have a nice little template at the end. Alright, so I nearly made an error because I did draw the line around the whole of the template one, of the original one, forgetting that I'm actually using the full depth of this piece of balsa wood. So I started drawing on it because I couldn't see the line, and then I thought, no. So thankfully, I did not go down that road. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this just so that I can see that it fits nicely, and if it doesn't, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh. There. Perfect. That fits really nicely, and I will always use that template for the front garden. Hopefully in the future I'm going to hope it's going to come out here. I might do something bigger, but this is actually a good size for now. So here we are, the base of the spring summer Matilda and Josephine. The words spring summer Matilda and Josephine townhouse garden. So what I'm thinking, as I said before, is maybe making a step down, so that maybe even having like steps that come that way, so you've got a little step there. But I'm going to sketch it all first and come up with better ideas. So before I even had a chance to put pencil to paper, I was just having a look at what I could do with maybe putting the balsa wood there and just having that. And I thought if I stick two of them together, it's almost the same depth width as that one. And I could just stick them together and I could have like a little bit there, so it starts sort of in between the, whatever these are called. What are they called? Columns. I don't know if they're called columns actually on there, but they are for this purpose. So I'm going to put them here and just have the two stuck together and have it probably out maybe halfway. So I'm even doing this without the sketch. I was planning on sketching everything, but one of the nice things about doing things like this is as you're working through it, you kind of come up with ideas and think, oh, that would work, or that would look good. And I'm loving that. So I could actually do it so that I do it half the width of this, and then stick those two together, and that would be my step, and then the gravel can go underneath. And then I can have like this one where you have a little border underneath it, so I could put the like that and cut a little tiny strip that fits under there. So I'm actually going to have a go at doing that now. I wasn't actually going to do much of the building in this video. It's more ideas and planning, but I think I might try putting the step together now. So I'm going to put this up against here and just measure it by eye. So I want it to come maybe a little bit wider than those, and then go there. I can center it up, and then roughly, I should really measure this, but I just want to roughly cut down here. In fact, I am going to find a ruler just so I can see, because that's not straight. But again, it's going to be rustic. Does it matter if it's not quite straight? It doesn't matter to me. And also, if I get it wrong, I'm going to do it again. So, and I have to remind myself as well, this is Matilda and Josephine's house, and they just get bits of wood and hammer stuff together. They're not professional builders, and also they have wands, and wands do not always behave. So I'm going to cut this bit out and just, yeah, the lighting is so annoying that it shadows the lines, and then it's going to be, I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Oops, that bit there. And then what I'll do is I'll make sure that it's properly lined up on top of the other one. Ooh. That worked extremely well. So when you have a really sharp knife, what I will do, no, I'm just cutting completely the wrong line. But what I'm going to do is put this bit underneath. Oh, look at that. Look at that. She's got a really sharp knife and she still can't do it. But what I'll do is put that there. And then I will put the other one on the top. There we go. That is, it's all right, isn't it? Is it? So that's going to go there. And the bit next is to actually measure something. So we've got like a little, or even, I mean, yeah. I do need to have something so you can see the underside bit. But I think that looks quite cool. I'm happy with that. But I'm going to have to measure now. And I'm going to have to cut out a little bit of balsa wood that's going to go around. So I can stick it to this. Yay. It's very difficult to do this without actually just sticking everything together. But I don't want to stick everything together until I know that it fits. Okay, so I've got the tiniest bit of white tack. This stuff is so good. I've actually stuck the stained glass window, which you can't see at the moment, but I stuck that because it was too big, so I stuck it to the front of the house whilst I want it there with the white tack, and it's holding it in place. I wouldn't want to move things too much, so I want it to be slightly yeah, if I stick it starts having a little bit of a meltdown. I stick it there. All I need to know is it is the right size, and it is slightly, let's push it there. Okay. Yeah, it's slightly too big. But has it pushed it? I don't know if it's too big or whether it's exactly right. Oh my goodness. The struggles. Okay. So what I'm going to do actually is glue everything together so I can see it quite easily, and then if I just need to file it down, I will, because I like that. I think it can come forward a little bit. So maybe have it a bit more, even right up against the edge almost. And then it's just going to be a bit more there. So I'm going to cut out some more for this side there. Nice. Nice. So oops, I don't want to take it off. I always forget that this is not one of those ones that you can pull it back down, because I had a knife that had bits that you could break off. When it got blunt, you could just break off that bit and you'd have a new blade. So every time you weren't using it, you slide it back into the case. This one, no, you have to take the blade out and put it in a little pot. So I always do that, and then the blade falls out. It kills me. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do first, I don't know whether to tidy up that or not. So obviously it's not straight. Nope, I will tidy it up afterwards if need be. So I've got the dodgy bits on the back. I'm just going to use this PVA glue and squidge it on like this. So that wants to go like that, I think. Get it? Oh, whoops. There. And that should be the underside. Oh, whoops. So I've got to wait for that to dry. And then I can put I could put the feet on now, couldn't I? I just want to make sure I'm getting it in the right place and that looks right. Because I'm going to have to trim bits so that it sits nicely. But look at that. There we have a step. Do I want to do something around the edge to make it look tidier? I don't know. I also got to make sure that it's sitting hard. So that's the front. Yeah, so if I do that. And then I think I will leave that to dry before I put the feet on. So I had to put all these little clothes pegs on it. I could have put something heavy on it to keep it stuck together, because it was kind of starting to separate, and it really, I could have sat there for hours holding it. I don't actually know whether it's dried yet, but I'm incredibly impatient and I want to stick the base on. The base, I don't know what you call that. So that'll be the next bit. I'm just trying to decide what's the best distance. I don't want it to be too close to the edge, but at the same time I don't want it to be too far away. So I think I should have maybe done this a bit longer actually. I don't know. Let's just give it a trial and error. I'm just going to put some glue on it. Put it on this bit. Yeah. Like so, and then just shove it on here. I've got to remember where that's one that goes underneath. Okay, good. And hopefully it's just going to sit and dry. But again, I'm not sure, because if I put these on, I've actually stuck that one to the card. If I stick these on, do I want it so that it's visible in the front like that? In which case it's probably about the right distance from the edge. Let's need to move that over a little bit. Maybe. So I think I'm gonna put that one there and just have it behind, so that I'm gonna drop it on the floor. It's actually slightly taller than that, so there could be a few issues. I think once it's all glued on, then I can trim and do whatever I need to do, because as you can see that is too tall, and it's also too long now that I've done it this way. But I think I'm happy doing it this way, so that's all good. There we go. Whoops, and then shove that one on there. Yeah, there's yeah, that is perfect. So I'm going to leave that to dry. And then the next step will be to just file anything down and then give it a good paint. That can come off. I might have to put something on this just so it doesn't start to rise up. But at the moment it looks pretty good, so I'm going to leave it like that. So again, I'm a little bit impatient, so I'm not entirely sure it's completely dry, and it has moved a little bit, so it's not perfectly in line. But when it's sitting like that, I don't think we're going to really notice. I need to shave a little bit off. I shaved off some of here because it's not quite fitting underneath there, so I'm going to just shave a bit off it. It's so simple to just scrape down, and look at that, it's moving. Okay, let's see if I can cut my finger off. See, trying to do it in the camera, I think probably I'm just going to do it this way, and then you know what it is to scrape something off. And just try. I think it's gonna come off. In fact, yeah, if I do it, just shaving some off little by little is enough. It may be that I have to shave some off this one as well, but we'll see. I don't want to shave off too much because it is still a bit wobbly. I might just have to put a bit of glue around the edges. So I think maybe a bit more off the bottom. There we go. Yep, still miles off. My measuring is terrible. I mean, look how far that is. I think probably, I mean, gosh, I'm going to have to shave so much off. But that is absolutely fine. I'm going to live with that. But it's probably going to be, I don't know whether it'd be easier just to shave it off or whether I need to get some, what is it called, sandpaper to do it. I'm going to start by shaving, see what I can do. The great thing about balsa wood is it is just so simple. Look at that. Look at the great filming I have here, all in the shade. Oops. And that one is nice and wobbly. But I know that's not going to be enough by a long way. I have shaved it all down. I feel like I'm a little carpenter in my little workshop. This is really, really cool. So this is now sitting. It should fit quite snugly. The only thing that I think is going to be a problem is when I paint it. And the paint is going to be thick, so I might have to just scrape some paint off here. Or I may just have to do it really, really thin. I don't know, but what I'm going to do is just line it up so that I know that it's pretty square. Put some pencils down and then I'm going to glue it on. And I think that looks pretty cool. I'm happy with that, especially once it's painted. I mean, it's going to, actually once you push it down, it probably will have a little bit of a gap for, whatever, for the, yeah, a little bit of gap to stick it under there. So I think that's roughly central, and as I've been saying for so long, I'm not too worried about being exact. I'm wondering whether I should paint it first, actually, before I stick it down. Because I don't know what colour I'm going to do on here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the glue off. And I'm just going to use the very, very last bits of my white acrylic. I was actually in the art shop the other day and I looked at acrylic. And then I thought, no, it's all right. I don't need to get any because I've got my dad's old one that's kind of lumpy. But I can't find it. So I'm going to use the last of this. And then I think I'm going to go and get myself some more white and probably some other colours as well. Let's just paint that in short, shall we? Okay. So I probably need a few layers. I don't know why I was thinking this was going to be really, really thick, so that it was actually going to get in the way of going under there. It's coming out really thin, so that's all good. And what I want to do, oh, I should have done that. I should have also, I'll put some sandpaper over that. Once this paint is dry, so I saw that when I was doing it and I thought, oh yeah, that's not very nice. I need to sort that out. That little bit there isn't very good either. But again, it's going to be hidden. I'm starting to think I don't like, you know, every time I think, well, it doesn't matter, you won't be able to see it. But I think, no, actually, I want to make all, even the bits that you can't see, I want to make them look good. But that, is that silly or is that right? I don't know. So this is going to, I think this is going to look really, really good. I know it's going to look good. What am I talking about? I think it's going to look good. I know it. And that's just filling in all of the gaps in there. I think maybe if I move the light, it might be better. It's a bit late now, but bring the light round. There, look. Another thing, I mentioned this before, the great thing about doing these things regularly, doing art projects regularly, speaking English regularly, you get better at it. And you sort of look at things and go, oh yeah, if I had actually done that in frame, if I deleted stuff off my camera, then I wouldn't have run out of space. If I'd moved the light, then whoever's watching, English, whoever is watching will actually be able to see what I'm doing. Sometimes I think that, it's really weird. I think, oh my gosh, I can't see because the light isn't in the right place. It doesn't occur to me to just move it. Very, very odd. So I'm going to leave that to dry and then put another coat on because you can see the balsa wood coming through. I've given it 2 coats. I've taken some of the stuff off there, but I haven't really done much. But one thing I have noticed is gosh, the words, is that it's really not white, the actual house. So what I'm going to do is use my last bits of white out of this tube in camera, and I'm going to mix a tiny bit of this yellow ochre. I'm going to have like the tiniest bit, so I really don't want it to be too much. In fact, I'm just going to pull out a little bit. There we go. Yeah, just to get that kind of off-white colour, but not got even the tiniest bit, and that's closer, I think. Let's try that. That is still slightly yellowy. That might be too yellow. I don't know, I think that works. I think as long as it's closer than it was with the white, oops, then I think we're good. Yeah, that's slightly better colour. I mean, I think probably the the grain. There might be a little bit of grey in there as well. I don't know. Maybe I can dirty it up a bit as well to make it look a little bit older. Maybe stick a bit of blue in there. You know what? I'm just going to keep colouring it up. So what I'm going to do is wait for that to dry, do the whole thing, and then we can see whether I need to, you know, roughen it up a bit. I think it definitely needs to have a bit more aging, just like the house has. It looks a bit too new. Okay, we are ready to glue. So I'm just going to put some glue around here. Yeah. Once more. Wasn't even looking then, I was just putting it all over my thumb. There we go. Right. And I do have it lined up. Okay. I'll make sure everything is in the right place. Whoops. I wonder if I just slide it in there and see if it's fitting. I know it'll probably push it out. Okay, does that look good? I think that looks all right. I mean, it's probably slightly off center, but again, are we bothered? I think that actually is perfect. That is so exciting. I will have to not do that. It's tempting to put it in there and leave it like that. I'm gonna have to I think I'm gonna have to rough around the edges a little bit, get some sandpaper on there. But I think, all in all, I am really, really happy with that. And I am thinking again, maybe I should do the sandpapering and stuff before I stick it to the board. But I think once it's stuck, it'll be quite easy to do once everything's dry. So I'm happy with that. So this is where I'm going to stop it for now for the spring and summer garden of the house of Matilda and Josephine. So thank you so much for watching. And in the next episode, I will be doing the wall and the railing. So I'm really, really excited about that. But I thought if I leave it there, so that I can actually move on to do a little bit of painting. I'm going to be working on my Matilda and Josephine painting for Sunday. So have an awesome day, do something creative, and I will see you next time.